Be positive. Don't worry about it. You know what? Just forget it. How many times have you heard these words? What does it really mean to be positive? And how can we deal with the two sides in our life? The positive and the negative. I'm a clinical dietitian, and like any other dietitian, while going through psychology in order to understand my clients and empower their behavior change, I found myself fascinated and drawn into studying positive psychology. I fell in love with the balance of this evolving science by the embrace of the whole nature of a human being. We're going to start with a quick exercise. So I'm going to ask everyone here to close their eyes and follow my instructions. So if you could do this thing for me, please. Can you all please close your eyes now? Thank you. And try to think of something that you can do very well. Something that doesn't require you much effort. You just do it easily and perfectly. It could be a strength you have, a talent, or something you enjoy. I want you to see yourself doing that thing. I want you to relive the energy that filled you back then. Maybe the excitement. Hold on to those emotions for a second. You may come back to the room now. Open your eyes. Wow, look at your smiles. So, how did that make you feel? And what if you could experience those emotions frequently while going through your everyday challenges and struggles? We have a natural negativity bias built in our minds, which is very normal and universal, in order to help us get things fixed or survive in this life. So whenever there's something that doesn't feel right, or maybe a risk around us, our mind is wired to shift the attention into the negative. However, if that negativity bias takes over and dominates, it may result in missing out other sides that we have. Each one of us has a unique combination of strengths and weaknesses. Some people may try to stop me here and ask me to avoid calling weaknesses, that I should try to describe them as a challenge or an area to improve. And they're right, but I'm really sorry. I just want to call them weaknesses today. I mean, as a human, what's so wrong about having a weakness or feeling bad at times? Todd Kashdan, a researcher in psychology and well-being, is always telling us that embracing your whole self, not just your good one, can bring success in your life. That rather than trying to eliminate or completely avoid what doesn't feel right, but trying to listen to these things carefully and interpret the messages behind them, they slowly become very useful pieces of information. Barbara Fredrickson, another leading name in this field, specifically studying positive emotions. She brings a very interesting concept in the field: positivity ratio. So she finds with her team that an optimal positivity ratio is something above 3 to 1. So 5, 4, or 3 positive experiences, thoughts, to 1 negative experience. What if that ratio is down to 2 to 1 or 1 to 1? Then we're just okay, barely okay. What caught my attention was that 1 in the negative side. It's a 1, it's not 0. What could happen if that 1 is really down to 0? Can you guess what happens if we are happy all the time, nothing bothering us? I'm not very sure if that's realistic, but let's pretend it happened. nothing special. We are just happy all the time, but missing out all the benefits of being positive. Things like flourishing, learning, being creative, and building resilience in the hard time. They all need that one in the ratio. They all need a touch of negativity in order to be inspired. What about things that we feel we can't do very well? The things that I decided to call today weaknesses. Back in school, whenever I had to change my school multiple times, and even when I started in my college, I needed each time a year or two to make a new friend. Whenever I'm in a social gathering, meeting with new people, I'm usually the observer. I take a step back and try to get to know people before trying to engage with them. I didn't know that this observing stage was the wall that I built between myself and others. When I first joined my workplace, I was speaking with someone I trust, and I told her about what worried me the most. Is it going to take me another year or two to be engaged with my team? And she told me, look, Mona, you are a very curious person. You love to learn new things. Why don't you, the next time you meet with people, ask them a question or two? Try to learn something new about them. And I did. Since I started doing that, not only with people in my team, I socialized with many people around in the organization. As an introvert, I was very surprised by the number of people I got to know in less than a year. So, this is the trick. You're not doing well in this area. What else can you do well? Can you utilize that to compensate? Didn't work? Should you consider teaming up with a partner, maybe, who has the thing that you need? What if you did invest all you have to deal with a weakness, but nothing worked for you? Then comes my next question. Is it a weakness that you could just continue to live with, but then have more capacity to work on other things in your life more efficiently? Which brings us to a very important question. Is it more beneficial to work on a weakness or on a strength if we get the option to choose one? There was a study on 2 groups of employees who worked on each. And the study actually found similar outcomes for working on both in the short term. However, people who worked on their weaknesses were finally relieved the study was over compared to those who worked on their strengths. They enjoyed it, and they maintained the change over a longer period of time. So it was more sustainable. Plus, it has other psychological benefits to your well-being. So let's spend some more time talking about your strengths. A while ago, when I asked everyone in the room to close their eyes, if you couldn't think of a particular thing, believe me, it's not that you don't have any. You're just not aware of them. Because when you have a strength, you do something very easily and naturally until somebody points that out to you and tells you, hey, this is actually amazing. And you may go like, well, that's easy. Anyone would have done the same. How many times did you say that? So try to pay more attention to these things that you can do very easily, efficiently, things that would energize you rather than drain you. Do more of these things that would help you step into your potential. Researchers like Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, and other people in the field are telling us, if we identify our signature strengths, if we utilize them frequently, if we become the best of who we are most of the time, that's going to help improve our levels of well-being, satisfaction, self-confidence, and even reduce stress and depression in our life. And there are many scientific tools out there that you can try to use to help you identify them. But they also remind us of something very important here. We need to make sure we are utilizing a strength in the right time, the right place, and the right intensity to avoid turning a strength into a weakness. So remember, balance is always a key. Try to embrace your whole nature. Try to be more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable at times, and invest in your strengths. They are the magic within you. Thank you.